Hey, my beautiful brothers and sisters, how you doing? I'm back at you again, along with my beautiful daughter, Niger, for our part 2 of I don't know, what we call this? I don't want to call it relationships.
Sounds like too cliche,
it's
right?
Cliche, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll think of something as we go along. Thank you so much. And again, I thank all my wonderful new subscribers. Thank you for the support and coming into our wonderful family. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Those comments, very important to me. So definitely leave a comment and share this video to anyone that is planning on coming here, especially females, because this is really tailored towards our beautiful sisters, our ladies. So let's see, what else should I say?
Oh, and don't forget, give this video a huge thumbs up, guys. Doesn't cost you anything.
This comes from doing a YouTube channel for almost 2 years. Okay,
I know.
So she remembers all of this stuff. I'm still a novice, but Nice Corner was up for a second, so that's why I let her tell me kind of what to do on this particular journey. But thank you guys, thank you so very much. And as I said, this is our second part of talking about coming here, getting into personal romances.
Yeah.
With
relationships.
no, we're not saying relationships.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's cliche.
Romances.
Romances.
With,
that's better. Romance.
Yeah, that's a little better. With our brothers and sisters here in Ghana, and we gave you some tips on that first video. So if you didn't view that first video, please view part 1, because there were some little hidden gems in part 1, and here we go with part 2. So, as I said, left off, I guess, on our first video, we're picking up. I said on that last video that there was something kind of juicy that I wanted to get into for the second half, and I wanted to save it for the second half, so we're going to dive into that now. And that's dealing with sex and with
promiscuity.
Yes. Okay, we need to talk about it. Okay, we need to crack those eggs. We need to crack those eggs open, because it's an issue. It is an issue. We have, in the time that we've been here, like I said, in the 6 years almost that we've been here, we have spoken to Ghanaian gentlemen. We've heard different things, and we were actually viewing a video of our brother Black to Africa, and he was talking about
the style of dress.
Yeah,
the
way that especially American women, but women from the West in general. And he was speaking more of American women, and that's kind of the standpoint we come from a lot, because naturally we're from America, but this is something that can affect, I think, different places in the Western world. And he was saying that sometimes our sisters from the West don't really garner a lot of respect from the guys here in Ghana, and it has a lot to do with presentation. Let's put it like that, and our style of dress. Yeah. So when Go Black to Africa was talking about the mode of dress, this is what he said.
You know, I've watched a couple of videos from sisters who have been making claim of the harsh treatment from African men and how they're being dealt with here in Africa. And one that I just recently watched was a video of 2 sisters who lived in Ghana. One particular was a single mother, I think, who had a daughter, and they had some infractions or had some encounters with some rude Ghanaians, as they say. Now, I'm going to say this right here, because some of the things that they were making accusations against some of the Ghanaian men, I have not seen nor heard in my experience, but I can't take away from somebody else's experience. But when I hear that the Ghanaian men are rude to women, whistle at them, come on to them, put their hands on them, are forceful with them, I just have not seen that from the African man or the Ghanaian man. I've said this time and time again, that the majority of African brothers are humble and they are meek when it comes to behavior. And it blows my mind. To me, sometimes I wonder, where is that testosterone of a man, and how we at times be aggressive, which I understand coming from aggressive country. We display it more than I actually will see from the African men. Now, that don't mean that I haven't seen no arguing, let alone some fighting, that this exists. But to the degree of what these accusations are, I just haven't seen it. But that doesn't mean that it hasn't happened. But let me tell you this. I do know I have interviewed and met many women coming from the West, America, Canada, as well as Europe, coming into Africa. And I'm going to specifically stay with America because that's where I came from. And yet these are the ones that I typically will see. Let me say this right here to help the sisters out. Here in Africa, for the most part, you're going to find that women dress conservatively. Women carry themselves with meekness and humbleness. Women aren't necessarily outspoken, loud, and what we would be used to in America, how you would see sisters carry on. And that's not to put down on sisters, because we as a black folks, we speak loud, and we sometimes when we are in situations can even get louder. But what I'm saying is that if sisters are coming to Africa with an American behavior, that can be perceived totally different, and you will be treated differently than what you will see the men, how they handle their own women. I have seen and met women who give that same energy to a brother in America to an African here in Africa.
So he was saying that sometimes he heard from two other sisters and they have that complaint that the respect level is not what they would like, that they receive from Ghanaian brothers. So that's kind of where we're going to come from.
Yeah.
And I asked Niger about that, being a young woman, and she's out on, I don't want to say out on the streets, but
she's like a streetwalker.
Right, no, she's out there, okay, doing things and going places. So, and she's young. So I was like, okay, is this something that you agree with? And her reply to me was,
okay, so I'm going to keep it real.
Keep it real.
When it comes to the style of dressing, I don't want it to seem like, because I'm going to be honest even about Ghanaian women, and it's been, we've been here for going on 6 years, and I've seen even a change of the way, Ghanaian women are presenting themselves even over this course of time.
Right.
There are some Ghanaian women that still are very conservative, especially Muslim women. I actually love their garb. They look very beautiful when they fix up, and they're fully covered. As a man, they're fully covered and they look beautiful. But I will say, like you said, I've been out to lounges, clubs, out on the night scene especially. And Ghanaian women are starting to let it hang out a little bit more.
I've seen it.
Okay, let's just keep it real. Whenever you go out to the mall or anything, it's like you be going, it's like, honey, you don't need to have that on.
Right.
Listen,
Yeah,
I'm not
true.
being preachy, I'm not being judgy, because I'm a young woman too. I love to look good and I love to look sexy. I mean, it's a thing where you're young, you know, some women out here, like I said, the women here are beautiful, have beautiful bodies, but they like to display that, sometimes to get attention, to tempt men with a little bit of moolah, you know,
Yes.
especially in certain areas. Like to hang out in certain areas, all dolled up, all fixed up.
But there's a limit.
Yeah.
Okay. There is a limit, and that's kind of what I want to talk
Right.
about is that limit.
You know, so I guess what I'm saying is that Ghanaian women aren't exempt, and they're following, but they're actually following behind the West. You know, that's
Absolutely.
really what it is.
Absolutely.
You know, that's not, you know, probably I could maybe any of your Ghanaian followers, probably maybe about 10, 20 years ago, women here were a little more conservative. But I'm noticing a change and a flip of women kind of in my generation here. You know,
in the
that are
time
in the
that
20s,
we've been here, because
30s, yeah.
women were, I thought, were a little bit more, a
Yeah.
little tiny bit more.
It's social media. It's
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's a change. It's a change. But with what Go Black to Africa was talking about was the way we present ourselves as women coming from the West. Because I mean, come on, let's face it. There has been the media portrayed on us here has not been so favorable, you know, in certain cases. So some Ghanaians and Ghanaian gentlemen have a preconceived notion. I've even come across that. One guy that was trying to talk to me, you know, I was telling him that I kind of tend to be a little bit more quiet and introverted sometimes. And he was like, oh, well, that's not possible, or what?
I remember when you told me about that.
What do you mean? He was like, oh, I thought all Black American women were loud and, you know, kind of could twerk and everything. And they think that that's really what we do. We're easy.
Yeah.
We're, you know, a good time. And I'm not saying all Ghanaian men think that, but I have gotten that even myself. And even out on the street, there have been times where I haven't dressed like a prostitute or anything, but, you know, you will get, you know, whistled at or touched. You know, and I'm this type of person. Don't touch me now. If you want to approach me, that's fine, but don't put your hands on me.
Right.
But what I feel is that, especially during Daddy December, I think that's what it's called, during the turn up time here, especially during the holidays, there are a lot of parties. The night scene in life is fun, but I think
Afrochella.
Yeah, Afrochella. Yeah, that's part of it.
Right.
That's all part of it. And you know, we come out here on vacation. You know, and some can be a little freer than others.
Right.
With, you know, having a good time sexually and trying out the men here. You know what I'm saying? The thing is that I understand where you're coming from, but I do understand being a young woman. You know, you're out here, sometimes you're with your girls and you like to turn up for vacation, but I feel that you have to use some sense with that. I've been burned by being, you know, sexually involved with somebody that I really didn't even know. And so there were some repercussions that happened, you know, from that. So it's a thing where you have to, you know, you need to just use a little temperance.
This is probably because I'm older too. I just see our sisters coming out here, and I know that sometimes when you're on vacation, when I was much, much younger, when she was a baby, I went to Jamaica with 2 girlfriends of mine, and we had a good time. Okay, we had a very, very good time. And it was kind of, everybody was a little bit more sexually free. I didn't go all the way there, and there was a reason, but that was definitely the climate. And I see coming here, the men here they look at Western women as being extremely promiscuous because that is sometimes the behavior that comes here during those times when you're on vacation. I saw a lot of pictures from Afrochella, saw some of the dressing, and I was like, okay. And they already have, like you said, that preconceived notion because of the media.
Right.
Okay,
right.
the media has already been here before we even set foot here.
That's true.
Okay,
That's
so
true.
it's
just like we've had preconceived notions about the continent, about here, you know, back in the day,
Right.
with how they even. So I mean, the media controls so much, and there's stereotypes that may not even be even true. We're all
Right.
the way accurate, you know,
Right.
sometimes,
Right.
you know, but we don't want to play into them.
No,
you know?
we really
Yeah.
don't, because there was an article that was out, and it was talking about black women come here from the States, because they were talking about the States, come here and they get pregnant while they're here. And it was kind of an interesting article.
Yeah, there was some controversy around the article,
Yes,
whether
it
it
was.
was true or not. But I have to say, like you were saying, I've spoke to some, I won't mention his name, but a popular YouTuber, Ghanaian YouTuber out here. And he was saying that he was even approached one time,
Yeah.
you know, during that time of women that were kind of trying to see if they could sleep with him, and you know, and I was just kind of like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm young, I understand, you know, I do, but at the same time, we want to, I would think a certain way how we would want to be perceived, you know what I'm saying, as black women, you know, coming from the West. I mean, the thing is being a person from the West, America, can't speak for the UK, but probably other places in the West too. In the States, it's how we've been brought up in terms of how we view sex and a very over-sexualized culture.
Right, and that's
You know,
that's kind of
we
what
come
they're
from.
after too. It's because the things that American women do sexually, a lot of Ghanaian women are not really into. They're getting into
Yeah.
it, but they're not really into it. It reminds me of when I was younger, and men would say that Caucasian women were more sexually free than black women were. So it
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of the same type of thing. Well, now black women are totally sexually free
Right.
and too free, okay, in my opinion. You know, I look back when I was younger, I was a little too free. I really was, but it's the culture that we're brought up in. And that's a culture that's really not ours. But naturally, with us being there, we're very influenced by the environment, by the culture, who leads the culture, and we start to do things that really actually aren't us. So these men here, they know that there are certain acts that black women from the States will do, and that kind of labels us as being a little whorish, you know, and that's an issue.
Yeah.
I even remember there was a young man that Nigeria was dating, and they were going out for the day, and she had on a dress that she would wear in the States, not a problem. But when she put that dress on to go out, he had a problem with it.
Yeah,
He
he did.
and she naturally
I didn't like it.
Didn't
I'm
like
going to be
it.
honest with you. I was kind of like, well, who are you to tell me how to dress? You know, and it's not a problem in the States, you know, but
you know,
right. So I mean, it's also a thing. It's also our mindset too. You know, we're so used to, well, this is how it is. We're just,
Right.
you know, just being free. And, You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But here, and like I said, but it is changing though.
It's changing.
Because I've been seeing some interesting dresses. Some
Very
women
interesting.
that are in the universities here, young women, will come, I've heard, in their bedclothes. They're kind of 90s to try to tempt their professors to
Yeah,
pass
because
them.
that's what it is.
So
and you
know-
have these slay queens
Right, you got
here.
slay queens. So, you know, so my thing is, Ghana is not a place where it's just like, oh, we're so pristine and proper.
No.
You know, it may have been like that back in the day,
But it's
but since, you know, and the thing is since everybody wants to be so westernized, because that's really what it is, you know, it's like, because I'm sure places like Tanzania or maybe other places.
Tanzania, we've heard,
Yeah,
they're not like
they're
that.
not like that.
So I'm
They
sure
kinda-
there are other countries here on
Right.
the continent that are not like that, but the countries that are going for a more westernized way of doing things,
Yeah.
like Nigeria. I think I
Right.
mentioned the countries in the last video, like Nigeria, Kenya, maybe South Africa. Some of the other countries are probably not. The women are changing.
So I mean, the women, are not saints. Some are not saints here. It's like in all these, social media.
That's not helping.
It's really not. It's not helping a lot. So the thing is, the climate is changing here.
It is.
It is starting to change here. But I do, understand what Go Black to Africa is saying, and then what you're saying too. About how we dress.
Yeah, because I mean, we
sometimes.
have all of these influences that they see. They see the Cardi B because they like Cardi B here.
Yeah.
They see Nicki Minaj. They
Right.
see all of these different influencers, you could say, and how they dress and how they behave. So they think that's how all black women from the
Right.
West behave. And unfortunate though it may be, it's the hand we're dealt. It's what we're dealing with. So there's just a way when you come here, with that in mind, there is a way that we do want to present ourselves here. Because again, they'll think, we used to deal with that as black people with white people. If one black person acted a certain way, well, then all black people act that way.
It's kind of like a generalization.
Right, and you'd get clumped
Yeah.
in that pot. So it's kind of like that a little bit here. So I just appealing to my sisters when you do come, just keep that in mind. I know you may be tempted because these are some nice looking brothers
They
here.
are, okay?
But
it's easy to get swept up in that.
yeah, but that's not really the best thing.
No, of course, like I think she said in the last video that we did, we're not telling grown people what to do.
No, you know
what I'm saying?
do.
Everybody's going to do what they're going to do.
Right.
We're not anybody's parent
Yeah.
or anything like that. So, it depends on what.
We're just sharing the
We're just sharing the information.
Okay, we're sharing the
Just
climate.
sharing the information.
That segues us into the next portion, which is dealing with online dating and money, the exchanging of money. There is a kind of a common practice we're finding out with our sisters from the West and them getting involved with men online here, on the continent and here in Ghana, and the giving of money to these men. You will always hear a sad story or a sob story, but that's something that is actually turned into a little bit of a profession out here.
Yeah.
Where, these men, I know it's really, really prominent in Nigeria, but it's here too.
I've even heard it's even prominent in the Philippines as well.
Okay. You get online with these men, you don't know these men, you converse with them, and there's usually a time when they're going to hit you up for money. Now, naturally, you do with your money what you want to do with your money. Okay, but there have been a lot of times where our sisters have gotten played that way in terms of money. And for me, my money, I work hard for my money. Right? I work very, very hard for my money. And, I don't mind helping people because my daughter can tell you, I love to help people.
Yeah.
I really, really do. That's why I'm doing this channel. That's why, I'm doing the coalition, Diaspora HQ. Even my business, dealing with building mud homes, the whole purpose behind that is to help our diasporans when they move here, if they want to build with mud, which a lot of diasporans do. We're offering a very honest, safe way to do it, trying to save money for our brothers and sisters coming out here and trying to make the transition a little easier. So I love to help people. I really, really do. But at the same time, as the Most High tells us, we must use wisdom in all things. And if you think that you're, giving this money and you're hooking him in and you're going to have this, this wonderful, wonderful relationship, that's not always the case.
Not always, not always. As a matter of fact, I saw a Catfish episode. I'm a Catfish lover. I love the show Catfish. It's really good. But it was a more recent recent episode where this woman, this black woman, actually her daughter called into Catfish and tried to get in touch with Neve and Cammie, because I think Cammie was the host then. And she was saying, my mother keeps getting burned by these men, online, giving them money. And she keeps doing it. She was a slightly older woman. She wasn't old, but slightly older. And she was talking to this guy in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, he was an artist. Anybody who's familiar with any Nigerian artist or the artist named Flavor, he's absolutely gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I would say he would probably be one of my crushes in Nigerian music. His beautiful locks, and he's a gorgeous specimen, okay? But she thought that she was talking to this man, Flavor, this huge Nigerian music artist. And sure enough, she was giving him money. Now, don't you remember that
one?
And I'm like, okay, as big of an artist as Flavor I know is or was, I don't know if he's still doing music now. What would he need with her money? But she was giving him money because she's thinking that she was talking to Flavor, and also the quote unquote his manager got involved. Ended up it was a regular guy. He was on the continent. I think he was either maybe from here or Nigeria, maybe someplace on the West African continent. And this is what happened. And her daughter was saying this is not the first time this has happened to her. She keeps doing it. So it's turning into a really common thing. And like you said, anybody that works hard for their money, they're gonna want to safeguard their money. And kind of one thing that I do agree with Oprah Winfrey on is I go where my money goes.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna just give my money to, especially online, I don't know you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know you. You could be conversing and having a good chat and everything, but you're not physically in that person's presence.
Right. So you don't know who you're talking to.
No. So it's like you're just basically sometimes just tossing your money away.
And times are tough.
Right.
Okay. Money to just throw away.
You need your money. And, I don't know. I hope I don't offend anyone when I say this. But I feel that almost just really, I'm talking about our brothers right now with black men from the States or the West. Kind of sometimes as black women, we can be kind of hard on them in terms of, believe me, I've, been in conversations and listening. We've been listening to even Clubhouse conversations.
Oh my gosh.
Clubhouse is like...
We were just on Clubhouse last night, and I don't go on Clubhouse very often, very rarely, but when I do go on, because I go on more than she does.
Yeah.
But when I do go on, like I said, which is really rare, I always have a tendency to go to the relationship chat rooms. And when I listen in, because I never comment because it's just a little bit too insane for me. But the conversations are, our brothers and sisters in terms of relationships, especially our younger people, not generalizing, but it's not good. It really isn't. And sometimes I listen in and it actually kind of breaks my heart because it's like, why is there so much division? And the one we were listening to last night had to do with
beating your women.
Beating your women. Is it appropriate
to the guy that was one of the guys that was moderating it, that had the room, saying, "Oh, you just need to it's a correction, like you do your child."
Sometimes you have to pull out that belt,
and you
discipline in love. And I'm like, that's interesting. Now, I have been on chats where women have been totally out of order.
Yes, very out of line.
Totally out of order. Where we have some of our brothers trying to calm them down, and they're just, off to the races, and it's just a disconnect.
very combative.
Yeah,
very combative.
Yeah,
but,
which causes a disconnect.
Yeah, it's like, but there's so much talk now, and I think Kevin Samuels really started it with the high value man and then the high value woman. And sometimes our sisters be like, well, I'm not taking him because he's not making enough, or he got to get his coin up. I heard one woman on a...
Let me tell you what I told her. To get that high value man, if that's what you want to call it, I think it's ridiculous anyway. But
because there's more than that.
What are you bringing to the table? Okay, are you just? One woman, we heard her, and she said, "I'm just, I'm cute." Well, okay, and what else are you bringing to the table? So it's just turned into a situation where, like I said, it's hard, I think, to have that meeting of the mind. I know it does happen.
Oh,
Again, we're not generalizing.
No.
But just from what we've heard, what we've seen.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And I guess what I'm saying is that kind of like here, it's like black women, it's like, I don't care. I will be your sponsor. Okay, well, in certain situations. And it's like, well, if it's in giving men money here, well, if you wouldn't be down with that from a brother in the States or wherever you're from, well, how come it's okay to do it here? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I just don't, you know what I'm saying? I just don't feel
it's kind of not.
It's not too totally fair. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a different, can be, because there are, people here and men here that make their coin. But the majority, or there's a vast larger number here, that the economic situation, of course, is different.
It's all strained.
And I understand
it can be
that.
strained.
I understand that totally. But I feel that it's also a fairness issue, even to our brothers, who are maybe trying to do something and trying to work. Well, you're not doing enough for me. Or, if it's, the education, well, he's not meeting my level. So it's like, but you come here and all that goes out the window sometimes. So
it's kind of just food for thought. Okay, just food for thought. But I also have, because I'm going to come at it from a spiritual standpoint, because those of you who have been with me, from the beginning, that's what I do. So here's some scriptures I'd really like for you to check out. Well, family, brothers and sisters, there you have it. I just wanted to leave you with those scriptures just to ponder over for those of you who are coming to Ghana, those of you who are coming to the continent. And so it was just kind of put on me to just kind of do this video, and didn't intend for it to be a two-parter, but I'm a little long-winded. Those of you have been listening to me for a while.
And we can talk for hours.
We can. We do.
Anything yet
we do.
With the two of us.
Yeah, we talk for hours and hours. So, but I'd like for you to please take that and just chew on it for a little while. But that will conclude this video, and I thank you again for your support. Don't forget to subscribe.
You like, comment, and share this information with others, and give this video a huge thumbs up. It doesn't cost you anything, guys.
Not anything. So thank you. Thank you to my regular subscribers. Hang in there with me, guys. I just want you to stay with me and definitely comment. Definitely tell me what you think about this two-parter. And if you have, you don't have to agree,
right?
With us, and that's fine.
It's just a healthy conversation, a discussion. Sometimes we will have different opinions, and that's fine.
That's okay.
About the situation. But just keep in mind, it was all done.
It's done in love. It's done in love.
It's done in love, definitely.
So I love all of you. Thank you so very much. Love and kisses to each one of you, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.